Paul Sturgis, an inspector for Nixon Oil Company, took his wife Ines and their 2 children Audrey and Tommy to the small Mexican town of Baja California for a holiday, as well as to examine an offshore oil rig called El Diamante. To their dismay, when they arrived, they discovered the village in a state of ruin. Paul sets off on a boat to explore the oil rig, intending to decide whether it should be maintained or shut down. His arrival to the town brings fear and resentment to the remaining locals. With Paul working for the company that commissioned the oil rig, anger begins to brew. When Paul arrives, he finds the rig in a disastrous condition, unsafe and surrounded by an oil spill. Only Chato and Junior, 2 rig workers and their pet Chihuahua, remain on board. Far from being welcomed, the local people begin to harass and chase Paul and his family. In the end, Ines pays for a boat to take them to the rig, which they embark on after the locals. As the boat appears, Chato and Junior start to be frantic and shoot flares into the air. They notice the black demon, El Demonio Negro, a gargantuan megalodon shark that weighs an astonishing 60 feet, 8 meters, and 45.3 tons, 100,000 pounds, and it is vigorously pursuing the vessel. Scrambling aboard the rig, the family is helplessly witnessing as the megalodon destroys the vessel that brought them there, taking the captain's life along with it. Chato tells Paul that some crew members managed to get away from the fierce megalodon, but the majority were killed and devoured. He adds that the radio on board the rig has stopped working and the requests for assistance sent to Nixon Oil have been disregarded. Ines finds out that while Nixon Oil was aware of the potential spill from the rig, nothing was done to address the issue. She also discovers safety reports that had been neglected and Paul had gone ahead signing off on the rig's revitalization despite the numerous red flags. When she questions Paul on his knowledge of the oil rig being dangerous but he still provided false reports, he confesses to his wrongdoings. He also explains that he was trying to give his family a better life and that if he didn't follow his company's orders, his job and the safety of his family would be in jeopardy. Paul also discloses that Nixon Oil created self-examinations in order to forego examining unsafe working conditions, and they threatened Paul when he tried to challenge them regarding their reckless behaviors. From that day on, he has worked for the company's own advantage, regardless of its disregard for the community impacts of its profiteering. When Chato and Junior submerge to re-energize the rig, they banter about the megalodon, with Chato considering it a messenger of the rain god Tlaloc, taking retribution for overuse of natural resources. Paul notices a demolition bomb attached to a leg of the rig, and realizes Nixon Oil had been attempting to kill him all along. Knowing their negligent practices would soon be exposed, the company had Paul sign all the paperwork so that he would take the fall and be destroyed when the bomb went off. Tragically, Junior is killed by the shark and Chato manages to narrowly get away. Desperate to correct the mistake, Paul courageously dives into the water and guides his family and Chato to safety as he seals the oil leak. Despite his efforts to protect them, the megalodon forces him to take shelter within the rig. Attaching the bomb to his body, Paul understands he has to offer his life to take down the megalodon. On his radio, Paul bids farewell to his family before permitting the gigantic creature to devour him and the explosive, resulting in its death and the sinking of the rig. As they depart, Paul's family plans to hand over the papers he gave them to the citizens of the town so that they can exercise their legal rights against Nixon Oil. Just as they are setting sail homewards, a local fishing vessel saves them from the oncoming rainstorm.